Welcome back to the 2020 Boundless Podcast. We are starting the year off right with another awesome cosplay interview featuring at Brown.Suga.Outlaw. How are you?
I am amazing. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so glad we finally got to connect. I know it's been a long journey for us to get here.
Understatement, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for everyone who doesn't know, we were actually supposed to connect at some other cons, but things had happened, so we're
Oh,
getting it going this year.
yeah. 2020 is going to be the year of
The
friendship.
year,
I
the
I promise.
year. It's going to be great. I'm very excited. You're the first interview of the year. We had, I don't know, about a good, how many? Maybe about 15 to 20 interviews last year. I just started the podcast in the middle of last year. So here we go again, getting it started right.
Yes, let's do this.
Let's do it. So, as always, to start off, could you please spell your Instagram name so everybody can find you?
Yes, it is BROWN.SUGA.OUTLAW.
Exactly. Brown.Suga.Outlaw. Everybody check out her Instagram as she has some amazing work, some of which we will be talking about today. Just definitely go check it out. I'm not going to give it all away right here in the first 5 minutes. So you have to listen to the whole interview to get it all.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I've
It's
done
a
a lot.
lot. So, where are you from? Tell us a bit about you.
Okay, so I am from Atlanta, Georgia, and I moved to Savannah, Georgia for college, where I started cosplaying, ironically, because I did cosplay in Atlanta. I don't know, I found what I wanted to do, which was acting, and I started to pursue that, not realizing that, hey, cosplay has a lot to do with what you want to do in your life. So it just kind of became part of me.
Okay. What kind of actor are you going for?
I was one of those who only wanted to do theater. Honestly, I did, and I still do. I might get back into theater this year, but I do mostly film work. If anyone has seen the film Birth of a Nation and
Oh,
has
yeah.
watched the trailer for it, you will actually see my face.
Wow. Actually, I need to go back and see that.
Yeah, it was weird because a lot of people saw the whole movie, and my face pops up quite a bit in that, like, a lot in that film. And a lot of people didn't recognize me. So when they
Mhm.
were talking to me about it, I was like, yeah, that was me. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, they made you look terrible. Oh, because I mean, they really didn't know. They put stuff on our teeth to make our teeth yellow and gross. They braided my hair, and they did that thing where you just rub it really hard to mess it up, and our clothes were disheveled. They made sure I looked like a slave. They did a great job.
Wow. I really need to go back and see that. Because I definitely didn't recognize you. So,
Oh no, no, I try not to look like a slave in my everyday life.
yeah, let's avoid that look as much as
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
So, actually, how did you even get this gig?
The film gig.
Yeah.
Well, what happens is, there are a lot of websites, a lot of actors. There are websites like Actors Access, and of course, you can go on Facebook, and there are casting call websites there, and they'll say, "Hey, we are looking for people," and I'm like, "I am people." Now, this was a while ago. This was back when I was trying to build my resume, so I was doing a whole bunch of Savannah College of Art and Design films, a bunch of extra work, and I've steered clear of that now because I'm moving towards something more prestigious, if you
Mhm.
will. I'm working towards actually getting speaking roles, which I've had a few. So I'm like, okay, we'll just keep on trucking.
Yeah, the grind is slow and it's steady, though. As long as you're, I feel, actively pursuing whatever it is in life that you want. Sometimes it takes a while, but you will get there and the blow up will happen.
Yes, you have to be consistent. That is my like
Yep.
mantra for this year. You have to be consistent, Cree. Don't You're getting impatient. You have to be consistent.
That's exactly what it's all about. And I've kind of trying to work myself into that because, I'm trying to grow more. I want more photo shoots, more podcast episodes. And I'm like, hey, just keep doing what you're doing and it's going to get there. Be patient.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating every once in a while, and you may want to do a few things that may like be called selling out, but it's like if you work hard and keep consistent, it'll happen. It just might be slower than someone else's. You got
Yep.
to keep that in mind.
I know, because we always get swept up into the hype of those cosplayers or photographers or actors, whatever have you, that made that one lucky post and bam, they just took off. But that's not the majority of people. Those are the very few outliers.
Stop preaching. This ain't church.
Whew, I just kind of had to say it out loud so I would actually believe it. So
Yes. Sometimes you have to talk to yourself so that yourself understands, because everyone else will get it, but yourself will just sit there and be like, nope, I don't
trust
agree.
me, I know, and I'm the one who said it. So yeah. So let's go ahead and dive into a bit of this cosplay stuff that apparently you're doing. What is going on with that? I mean, tell me about it. When did you get started in cosplay? How did you get started?
I started back a long time ago. I was in high school. My friend Kalani was the first person I ever cosplayed with, and she helped me make a Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service dress and got the bow. My hair was straight then, so I was able to do her hair effortlessly, and we went to AWA together. It was amazing because everyone was like really excited to see my Kiki, and I was like, oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. This is so cool. And this was, of course, before, Kiki started being like a regular cosplay. So I felt, and my friend Kalani was Chihiro from Spirited Away. So I was like,
Oh,
awesome.
love that
Okay,
movie.
cool. Oh my gosh, so pretty.
Yeah.
Such a pretty movie. I can't watch it without eating though. Like, I have to have food ready. That's true with any Miyazaki film, to be honest. As soon as they show food, it's like, oh, gotta pause the film, gotta eat, because otherwise I'm gonna be thinking about the food while the climax is going on.
And their food always looks so good in their movies. Like, it just makes you want to eat.
And it's like, it's shiny, it's glossy, it looks juicy.
Yep.
And I'm like, I would have turned into a pig. Because that chicken thing that her dad ate, I have that burned in my memory as something that was just
like worth it.
So
worth it.
So worth it. So worth it.
Yeah.
I started back then. I want to say that was about 2006, 2007. I took a break for college and all that stuff. And 2015, I started up with my team, the Usual Rangers 5. And from then on, it's history. It's 2015. Yeah, 2015. It's just been going. We started off as we did our original crew as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from the 1995 movie.
One of the greatest Power Rangers movies ever. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, we slaved over those helmets. The White Ranger, my boyfriend, made the helmets from scratch, like no templates or anything. Made those from scratch, and I made the suits. And it was literally our first cosplay project. I'm not even joking. It was our first cosplay, not only together, but just like making something so intricate. And then, when you make one, it's one thing. I can make one Imani. I can make one Lana Kane. Making 6 Imanis is like, that's exhausting. Like it was a huge undertaking.
How long did it take you to make all of those?
We rushed it together because we did the Ninjetti the first year, the Ninjetti Power Rangers from the same movie. And we were talking about how we were going to learn to make the new suits. And then inspiration struck. All of us were in a meeting. We were like, you know what? Let's do it. No, really, let's just go ahead and do it. When are we going to debut these? Dragon Con. When's Dragon Con? 2 months. Oh.
Well, so soon.
We might as well get to it. There's nothing else we can do about that. So we put pedal to the metal. We walked in the Dragon Con parade, which was funny because that's when we learned that there's more to cosplay than just looking good. You have to function, and your legs can't keep flapping open because your Velcro's not strong enough, or you need holes in your helmet. Otherwise it will fog up and you won't be able to see anything. Oh my gosh. We learned so much in that mile walk about cosplay.
Yeah, that was what year was that you said?
The year we did that in the parade should have been 2016.
2016, okay. And so it's just so amazing to see how far your work has come from 2016 to 2019.
I'm the type who likes to research, to be honest. I believe you can learn anything through research and just putting your nose to the grind, honestly. Everything I've learned, I've either YouTubed it, Googled it, Pinterested it, Tumblred it. I've looked into everything. And if I can't find specifically what I'm looking for, I try to find the closest thing to that and try to replicate it for my needs. If you don't research, you can't grow.
Is there any specific resources that you use that like you would like to let everyone know about if they're also, trying to grow or make certain cosplays?
I'm a part of a group called Replica Prop Forums on Facebook, and not only do they sell a lot of awesome cosplay props, but if you ask a question, these guys are more than helpful, more than happy to help. I mean, they are just like ready to give you advice and say this is what I did and this is what worked for me. Replica Prop Forums on Facebook, as well as Cosplay Help and Advice on Facebook. I use one for more prop work, Replica Prop Forums for like EVA foam and things like that. But then if I have any sewing questions or need fabric help or anything, Cosplay Help and Advice on Facebook is wonderful for that. And if those two don't work, always go to YouTube. Like
YouTube has
always,
everything.
Everything you need. Most things you need. We'll talk about that when we start talking about Imani, but most of the things I learned how to do, like just the basics of basics, was from YouTube.
Okay. That's what I know. I've written a few posts on that, and basically I think the post was entitled, if I recall correctly, it was something about cosplay tutorials that are like helpful, or basically cosplay resources. That's what it was. So if anybody's interested, you could head over to my website, search for cosplay resources, and I have a lot of accumulated YouTube and Pinterest channels that hopefully will help you get to wherever it is you're trying to go on this cosplay journey. So let's go ahead and dive into some of your cosplays. Which one do you want to discuss first? Because there's so many.
I'll clarify. The reason why there are so many is because the first year I decided to start a mini solo journey in cosplay, I did a thing called the 28 Days of Black Cosplay Challenge.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. I cosplayed 28 different women from a variety of genres in 28 days. It was crazy. And I learned specifically how to balance multiple cosplays from doing that, because you have to learn you can't always do, Ironheart. You can't have a whole bunch of Ironhearts to do. You have to have some Ironhearts and you have to have some Michonnes. You have to mix it up a little bit. And I learned that I'm surprisingly good at going through eBay and finding what I need. It was a crazy experience. I got those 28 costumes under my belt, whether they were the full costume or started with half the costume and then built on it later. It's really what built up my cosplay repertoire, if you would like to call it
repertoire. Yeah. Nice. And I'm sure you just got a ton of practice in doing that, because you were doing so many different characters that came from so many different series and involved so many different elements that you were forced to essentially evolve.
Yes. Because, I never do things the easy way. Why would you do that to yourself? Take your time and learn. Pshaw. The best way to learn to swim is to be thrown into the water and find your way back up.
Basically that method is how I learned to swim. Exactly. You either drown. Oh yeah. You drown or you make it back to the side. One of the two will happen. And since I'm here, you know which route I took. So yes.
Just so everyone knows, I'm not condoning that to your children. Do not throw your children. I know if they just come out the womb, they can do a little doggy paddle. It's cool, yeah, but don't make it a habit.
Yes, please don't. I mean, it was a very traumatizing event that I make fun of now, but hey, we all have traumatizing events in our past.
Right.
So,
but it really was a sink or swim moment.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess what is the biggest thing you say you took away from the 28 days? What skill did you really level up?
Time management.
Time management. Okay.
Like, oh my gosh. I learned that it is very important to schedule things and make a calendar of things and pay attention to shipping dates for things. It just taught me that, hey, if you're going to be doing this, if this is something that you want to do, you have to schedule yourself. You have to keep yourself on top of yourself, because it's easy to be like, I can work on that tomorrow. When no, in fact, you cannot, because the photo shoot is tomorrow. So get your butt in gear and go ahead and push through it. Like, and it became fun after a while. It wasn't all, okay, Cree, you have to do this on Monday and Tuesday. But it did become a part of my life. Like, even with the cosplay that I have planned for this year's 28 days, not all 28 days, but 4 new cosplays I'm planning. I'm like, okay, so if I start on this today, I work on this. Like, I have everything scheduled by the week, because I got so used to doing it with the first 28 days. And it's helped me organize my life in general.
Got it. That's definitely, an aspect that I feel a lot of people don't discuss, because everyone just jumps into the, oh, I want to do armor building, I need to learn EVA skills, or, oh, I want to do sewing, I need to learn how to use a sewing machine. But no one ever realizes, oh, I have, I don't know, 30 days until this convention. I need to have this mapped out, what I'm getting done each day.
Mm-hmm.
So
I made sure that when I was making Imani, I had to have like weekly goals. Like, at the end of this week, what should be finished? Because even if it's not perfect, if you finish things week by week, or as much time as you're giving yourself, before the con, you'll be well enough done, and you'll be able to get everything together, clean up things. Give yourself a week to get things cleaned up. You don't have to rush to get things perfect, because when you're doing that, you're taking time away from other things. And that works for some, it hurts others, hurts most. And it hurts me, definitely. So if I keep a week schedule, I end up giving myself a certain amount of time to clean up, go through things, make sure they're secure and whatnot. It really, really helps.
yeah, that's definitely something I know I have to start instituting more in 2020, but that's all part of the goals of just 2020. Just get everything together. Stop running this show as though it's just, a circus. Start getting some structure and some order.
Yeah, and it's not the easiest thing to do, please. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is something that you want to get used to doing. Even if it's just saying, okay, by this date, I have to have something done. I have to, because otherwise it won't get done. Just that understanding of yourself and how you work matures you like 8 years.
100% right. I completely agree. So, so let's go ahead and focus a bit now on your Imani cosplay. First off, why did you choose to cosplay as her?
I'm part of this group called Black Girl Gamers. And every time there's a new Black character, they post it. And I love them for that. Oh my gosh. Because they posted Imani, my jaw dropped, and I was like, this needs to be done ASAP. Because she was just so cool. And then when we started watching videos of her and seeing, that she turns into a dragon to kill people, and she uses fire and ice, I'm like, what was that? No, oh my gosh, she's so cool. I would love to bring her to life. And
Okay.
that was pretty much it. I'm such a simple person when it comes to things. If I like, it's done.
And so, how long did it take you to put this together, from the time you saw it to the time you were like, you know what, I'm making this, a realistic thing? Because I, of course, don't know the timeline. All I saw was your completed product at Anime Week in Atlanta.
Well, I saw her February of 2019, and the ultimate goal was to have her 100% ready by November 2019.
Okay.
Because of DreamHack. And I started on some things, you know what I mean? I had to have my crew, the Usual Rangers 5, chip in a little and help me out. Because I can't, I don't know how people do those duct tape, body, what is it called?
The In order to get your body build for the cosplay, I know
Yes,
exactly. I don't know
template,
what templates. Yes,
template.
with like the
Yes,
Saran wrap.
yep.
Yep.
I can't do that by myself. I have long arms, but they are useless noodles. So when they helped me get that together, then I started putting the corset together sometime in July, but I didn't start hardcore working on her, like, this is time to work on her, until maybe September.
Wow. Okay.
So September, October were the 2 months that I was like, all right, let's get this girl done.
Okay. Very
And yeah,
interesting.
I can go ahead and say 2 months, 2 solid months of work went into Amani.
2 solid months. That's not bad though. I mean, because that Oh my gosh, that cosplay. If anyone hasn't seen it again, go to Brown.Suga.Outlaw Instagram. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. 2 months. I mean, I definitely would have thought you took a lot more time putting that together, because but then again, yeah, I'm a complete noob in the cosplay world, and whenever I see amazing things, I'm like, oh my god, that must have took like a year to put together. People are like, no, that was only like a month.
And you're like, how?
How? Yeah, it's just I don't comprehend it.
The one
So
thing that kept us from actually getting it done sooner were the gloves, because her gloves glow. And I don't know if you've ever seen crystal clear glowing gloves that change color, but I know I haven't. So we
I
had to do
definitely haven't.
so much research went into trying to figure out how on earth we were going to do these gloves. Like I had 8 different prototypes and ideas. We went so far as to make a silicone clear mold of my hands and tried to use that, but it ended
Wow.
up being too heavy because it wasn't going to be far enough away from the light, which, I had to learn how lights work, to diffuse the light so that it actually glows versus just being a line of dots. Oh, that cosplay. Just the gloves alone were frustrating because it took the most it was a lot of technology. It was a lot of technology, basically. A lot
Yeah.
of technology. Oh, I did not want that flashback, sir.
Sorry to give you that. I mean, but we were very curious. I mean, because, oh my gosh. And so the whole thing, I'm sure, is constructed out of EVA foam, right?
EVA foam, some things were stitched. The hairpin at the top and the dragon mouths on my gloves were 3D printed because I wanted those to be as sturdy and strong as possible. Um, EVA foam. Oh, there were so many things. The hair, the wig was the biggest thing.
Mm.
Um, I was really excited to do it until I started doing it because you get these ideas in your head. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. And then once you actually get into it and you realize how long and tedious a process it is, you start crying. Um, the hair was made with a couple of different things. Foam. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's insulation foam tubing for piping and plumbing and whatnot, or pool noodles is basically the same thing. I cut those into strips, made them the right length, and then I wrapped each individual strip in braid hair. And then I glued it all together. Like I literally had to make the wig from scratch because I mean no one has a wig that's
Of
just
course not, because it's so amazing and ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. And it was my first wig ever being made. And I was like, yep, here we go again, jumping into the deep end because that's the only way I can learn.
Very nice. Wow. I mean, and even to, I don't know, I guess take on such an immense project just says so much about like your cosplay and everything. Because I mean, I definitely be like, I'm starting with something a lot smaller. I'm not doing all this.
I would love to think that way. Be like, hey, just start small, build it up. But then I see something amazing like Amani, and I'm like, I have to do it. It's getting done. Do I know how? How? That's an irrelevant question for how I feel right now because I want to do it.
Yeah. And
I mean,
so, oh, go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, 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 please go ahead, go ahead.
Well, no, I was actually just going to switch over to, I was just curious. I guess I'm jumping the gun too, but I was so curious about your dream hack experience with this costume.
Oh, DreamHack was bright. It was dark but bright. I know that's an oxymoron, I know. But DreamHack was amazing. It was my first this is a super video game tournament. I've been to final round once. I'm actually going back this year with a new cosplay that's, in the works. Can't say just yet.
Okay,
We're
okay,
really,
on the
really excited.
hush.
And I'm going back there this year and final round was simple, Here are the games, here are the players, you can watch on the screen, you can listen to commentating, it was straightforward. When I walked into DreamHack and it was dark in the room, but there were lights shining everywhere, and you saw all kinds of video games being played at all the same. It was like Disneyland, but for video games.
Man,
And
God,
I'm
that
like,
sounds
this is
amazing.
crazy. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. And the crazy thing is, I could barely handle that, so I don't know how I'm gonna handle if I ever get the chance to go to Evo. You know what I mean?
Oh
Or,
my
or
gosh, I want to go
oh,
to Evo so bad.
who are you telling?
Mm.
It is a goal. I even want to go to TwitchCon someday, but it's like I don't know if I can handle it because my eyes couldn't stay still at DreamHack. So I have to get something to calm my nerves before I go because I'm just gonna be like a child at Christmas.
God, I mean, I just imagine the connections you can make out there, the people, all of it.
Oh, it's crazy. I got so much love, and it's funny because since she's brand new, and not a lot of people play Paladins, not many people knew who I was, but they loved the costume, so they'd come up, "Can I get a picture?" Sure, and they just walk away. These people were obviously business individuals, people there to market and network, and they weren't like into the actual video games themselves. So when they take a picture, I was like, "That's not going anywhere," but it is interesting that you took my picture, sir. Thank you so much. And it was all these people who I know don't play video games. That was the fun thing. That's what really boosted my confidence a lot, because if someone who doesn't play video games or isn't really into anime, comic books, and just the whole con scene, if they like my cosplay, I feel like I've done a good job.
Yeah.
I've reached someone outside of it, and
Yep.
that's all I can ask for.
Hmm. Got it. That's where I guess you receive like a little validation in your work. Like, I got someone who's not even interested in this to like it. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Oh, thank you. I cried. Like, no. I actually did not cry at DreamHack. I'm very proud of myself. I held back my thug tears because there were going to be a lot of them. There were several moments where I wanted to. It was crazy. But I mean, just the people I met there and the experience of being in a high caliber, video game tournament, just the atmosphere. It was so much
Man, maybe I'll try to make that a goal for this year.
Oh, please do. It is definitely worth it. Make sure you get your tickets in advance though, because the line was out of this world.
Oh, I'm
I mean,
sure. Probably like
it was
Dragon Con's line.
no, it was worse than worse.
Worse? Oh.
Worse. Like Dragon Con has gotten a lot better at getting people through the line, I've noticed. Same thing with MomoCon. Like these cons are doing better at being like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Get through it, get through it, get through it. DreamHack has only been in Atlanta for 3 years. This was their third year.
Mm.
So for them to be like, okay, yeah, this is what we're gonna do, they were like, oh, we aren't exactly, oh snap. Okay, we'll improve next year. For this year, just please bear with us. And the
Okay.
staff there was so great, so understanding, so kind. I mean, oh my gosh, they were just wonderful, wonderful people.
Okay. And so tell me about walking down the red runway. I know we all have that you have that video on your Instagram where you're doing it. What was that like?
Okay, so funny story about that. I went into prejudging, and I was a mess. It was my first time ever being in a costume contest, so I was babbling. I know I was babbling. And I was so nervous, and I was late because of the line. And the staff, the reason why they're just so wonderful is because they helped me get to where I was going to go. They're like, "Hey, we understand. Just go ahead. We'll walk with you." They were just everyone was just so kind and understanding. So I go through after prejudging. I'm like, okay, I think I did good. Hopefully they didn't see all the mistakes because there are a lot of mistakes on Amani that I'm working to fix and clean up. And I'm like, okay, you're good. Your goal is to at least place. You don't need first, or you just need to place. If you can place, you're moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So they told us to meet at the red carpet at, I want to say, 4 o'clock. I waddle over there, and I'm talking to the other people who I saw getting prejudged, and they're like, yeah, this is fun, this is great. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And one of the girls I was talking to, she was like, yeah, I won most creative, and I think actually you and I are the only two who placed in this area right now. I was like, huh? I'm sorry, what? She's like, yeah, you placed. What? I'm sorry, what
Nice.
now? She's like, yeah, you were fourth. No, how do you know? Who are you? Like I was like, who sent you here to tell me this information? Like, there's no way. And then, of course, after talking to the people who were in charge of the red carpet, they're like, yeah, you're fourth, right? Okay, so we need you to stand over here. I was like, what? Me?
God, that's so cool.
My doofy behind made fourth place? What? And then, of course, when I saw who I lost to, I was like, I did good.
I did very well
I
considering
did.
who won.
Yes, I am proud to be fourth place. I
Who
cannot tell you.
who beat you?
Okay, let me see. I cannot remember their names off the top of my head.
Yeah, what were their cosplays?
There was one guy. They were all Smite characters.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I don't play Smite.
Me
Forgive me.
neither.
I know Paladins. I don't know Smite. Um, this one guy was like a demon lord kind of guy, and he sewed his entire dress cloak outfit, and the detailing on that was immaculate. He made his own spear, which he taught me about. He actually showed me how the lighting works. He taught me how he can like take his staff apart and pack it up. He had this amazing makeup. His horns, he looked amazing, and he made first place in mixed media when you
Yeah.
sewing on top of foamsmithship work, blah blah blah. It's going to take the cake. Second place was this larger than life armor. I mean, larger than life armor.
Like
It
on
was
the
huge.
Hulkbuster level?
Yes. His
Okay.
feet were big. Like two children could have sat in the shoes and pretended that they were driving a car. Like it was huge. Third place was another Smite character. I think I know the cosplayer, Ebony Warrior Studios.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, he got third place, and he was a crocodile alligator character.
Yeah, I don't know the name of that character, but I see it all the time on his Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, it was madness, honestly, seeing those three. And when I saw those three, and I was like, I'm fourth? Okay, I will take that. Please, please. They're like, oh, yeah, next. No. Not only did I place, I lost to those.
Yeah.
Please understand, I am good. Like, this is the confidence boost I need. I'm going in the right direction.
Like I am okay with this.
Please. There is no bitterness whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Do understand. And what they had us do, they had us line up on the red carpet, and one by one they recorded us walking. And the video that I recorded was played during an intermission when they were doing the Paladins competition.
Okay.
And I remember watching, because they said they were going to post it, so I watched it, and I was freaking out in my living room. I was like, oh my God, that's what it looks like. And everyone's like, oh my God, look at the Amani. And then I read the comments, which you should never do. Like, if I ever do make it big, I'm gonna make
Jesus
it a point
Christ,
to,
the comments.
if I may be a little inappropriate.
Oh no, go ahead. Say what happened.
So I saw one comment say this, and I was like, whatever. And then I saw 4 or 5, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll keep that in mind. I didn't realize. Okay, so when I made the corset, it works like a corset. It takes you in and pushes you up.
Yeah.
And the bra I was wearing was also one of those that kind of takes you in and pushes you up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm walking down the red carpet. I'm not paying attention to it because I'm looking at me in this amazing thing. I'm thinking of the whole thing. Meanwhile, the commentators are looking at it like, man, the jiggle on that Amani. This is verbatim now. One literally said, ooh, Amani, heart emoji, jiggle, jiggle. And I was like, I'm not ready for this. I'm literally not ready for this. You guys could have just thumbs up Imani like the rest of them, but no, you specific 5 commentators just had to be like, yeah, let me point this out.
Oh man, that's I don't know what to say about that. I'm just gonna leave that where it is. Yeah.
Right. And it's not an insult. That's the thing. I can't sit here and be like, oh, how dare they? No, come on now.
Yeah.
It's not an insult. They found it attractive. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you view this that way. You take a positive spin because a lot of people wouldn't. So I'm glad.
Yeah, I had to switch my brain set because it's really not an insult. If you put yourself out there, you gotta be ready for what comes back to you, because you're on an open platform, you're putting yourself out to the people. If you're allowed to do what you want, people are allowed to say what they want. Freedom works both ways.
You're right.
So I'm not like upset. It was just weird because I'm still sitting here, in my head, I'm still the 12-year-old geeky Cree from middle school. And seeing those comments, I have to remember, you are a 28-year-old woman.
Yep, you're a whole woman.
Full grown woman. So these things are going to happen. You are no longer that little geek.
Yep.
That is a daily reminder, mind you, but hey.
And so, go ahead. No, go.
That was actually the first costume contest. The second one, because I entered in both, I found out you could enter in both. The second one was a lot more chill, a lot more relaxed. We had a walk-on. I think the walk-on's on Twitch, which I need to download my little blip from that. excuse me. And it was just as crazy, just as amazing because I went in there with a little bit more confidence, to get prejudged because hey, I've done this before. Actually, funny story. So whenever I'm a character that has an accent, I make sure that I learn the accent because I want to bring the character to life as much as possible. That's the actress in me. If
Okay.
I'm Amani anywhere, you will hear my African accent come out because that is what I am aiming to do. I want you to feel like you can actually meet these character.
Mm-hmm.
So the first day I did it, at that costume contest, I was talking to them. I went through the entire interview with the accent. What was funny was at the end of it, they were like, okay, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want me to know about your costume? I was like, well, actually, breaking the accent entirely. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I just like putting on the accent, and all of their faces, their eyes, they were just like, what? Wait, what? So it was a fun little thing for that. So when I went in the next day, turns out the woman who I'd been emailing, she was so excited to see me yesterday, she was already talking about my costume and my accent. So I was prepared to do it again, but I came in and they're like, oh wait, no, 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 you're not gonna trick us this time. No, we know the truth. I was like, oh. They were like, but please do it anyway because it's really cool to hear. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So of course that worked as a great icebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
That one was a lot chiller. It really was.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was because I had just done it the day before, but I was able to talk about everything. I didn't forget anything. I was able to show them that the lights went from blue to red.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. It was chill, and that's when, yeah, that was the second day. That costume contest, that was a huge boost to my confidence because I entered in the journeyman category because I had entered into a costume contest before, of course, the day before, and I had won. So I was like, okay, yeah, I have to enter a journeyman, and they accepted me in
Okay.
journeyman. They actually bumped me up to masters,
Wow.
and I know I watch a lot of costume contests, like a lot of costume contests. If you go through my YouTube search history, I'm just like watching and seeing what wins, what doesn't win, what's cool. Ooh, I want to do that cosplay. Oh, that looks awesome. How does she do that? Let me follow her and find her. I do. That's another part of the research.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people get bumped up if your costume is of a certain caliber. Once again, geeky 12-year-old Cree doesn't think that.
I didn't
So
know that. I actually did not know that. I thought, whatever category you apply for, that's the one you're in.
the judges will surprise you. They genuinely will surprise you.
Wow.
So I got bumped up to masters, and not only was I bumped up, but they had me win second place in the masters.
Wow.
And I was like, "Are you serious?"
That's so cool.
And it was a crazy story. We're all backstage. All the cosplayers are backstage, nervous wrecks. Every last one of us, like all of us, can't stop talking because we're nervous. And we finally get through where everyone goes on stage and comes off. Like, all right, we're gonna now announce the winners. So everyone's like, "Hey, the audio has been absolute trash this entire time. We can't hear anything that's going on." And they're like, "It's okay. We'll point to you when it's your turn, right?" So there's this one guy. He is the smoothest gentleman I have ever met. Okay, he was wearing bunny ears, and he was still incredibly dang bung smooth.
Okay.
He would go backstage because he knew it was hard for us to hear, and he'd point to people. He'd be like, "Hey, get ready." And you're sitting there like, "What?" And he just walks off. And you're like, "Okay, I will get ready." And then
Like,
they'll
all
call your
right.
name, and you're
Yeah.
like, "What? This dude." So we go through a few, and then the journeyman portion comes up. They go through each person, and I don't get called. So I was like, "Okay, that's fine. You won the first. You placed fourth in the first one. You did your due. You told yourself your goal was to place in one of these, not both." So then they call third place for masters, and then the bunny guy shows up. He points to me and he's like, "Hey, get ready." Now me, I look immediately behind me. I'm like, "What? Who gets ready?" I look behind me, no one's there. It was literally a movie moment. There was no one,
Yeah. Pointing
no
at
one
you.
behind me. I was like, "Me?" And then they called me up, and everyone was like, "Yes, you go, go, go." So I go on stage, and if I could find the clip, I have to find this clip because I literally go on stage pointing to my face like, "Me?" And they're like, "Yes, you." I guess I have to accept it now.
That's
I go
so
on
awesome.
stage, and they're like, "Yeah, I know. We had it was apparently there was a lot of debate about my cosplay because I tied for second with another cosplayer who's done this way longer. He's amazing. And they were like, there was a lot of arguing going on backstage. We did not know who we ended up having to settle with the tie because we genuinely could not decide.
Wow.
And I was like, ladies, I will take this. please no. I will take this and I will be thoroughly pleased.
I am good with this. Yes.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't
Very
take much to make
cool.
me happy. Give me a cookie and I'm good. But when you go above and beyond a cookie, oh my gosh, you won yourself a creep for life.
So let me ask, so have you gotten any, I guess, promotional deals or anything out of this? Like, have you been able to make any sources of income from it, or anything dealing with money?
Not quite yet. Of course, there was the prize money one from both of those contests. I haven't gotten anywhere else yet because right now I'm working on just building my social media platform.
Okay.
Because I noticed in the cosplay community, it's weird. There are some cosplayers out there who are amazing, people who have won first place in like world championships, but they don't have a huge Instagram following.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a shame. But the cosplay community prizes certain things over others. Craftsmanship does come second to a pretty girl in a costume.
Sad but true, yes.
Sad but true. And I'm trying to figure out, exactly which one I want to be, because once you get the Instagram following, you have the following. You can build off of that. You can do other things with that.
Yeah.
And I'm working towards gaining that following by, posting regularly, being social on social media, actually, putting myself out there a lot more. And part of that is actually going to more cons this year. Like I have a convention a month this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pedal to the metal, man. I got to, because it's like.
So I have to ask, what type of job do you do that allows for this? Man, what are you doing?
It's a lot of saved up money.
Okay.
Most of them I'm going to for costume contests and hope to win, money to continue going through it.
Of course.
I work with, I guess you could call it a shelter, an animal shelter of sorts, where, I take care of animals and feed them, clean them, love them, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And, that's a full-time job, but since it's only 1 week in a month, you tell them enough in advance, we're good to go. Yeah. And plus I get Saturday and Sunday off normally anyway. So I'm like, okay, let's take advantage of this. I may need a Friday off every so often. They're like, okay, that is fine. And we just, we work it out because me and the boss, I think we've known each other for a while. We just, we have a communication to where we can do these things.
Okay. Very nice. Okay.
Listen, I know it sounds crazy. Everyone's going to be like, how are you doing this? How are you affording to do all of this?
No, I mean, I just realized, when you have a dream, you find a way to make it happen. Everyone always says, oh, I don't have money for this, and oh, I'll just do it next year. No, when you want something to happen, you find a way.
Yes, you have to find a way. Otherwise, it won't happen.
Yep.
And I a while ago, I had to sit down with myself because I realized I have this passion. I love to create. I love to make things. I love to build things. I love to work. Okay. If there's nothing else I can say good about myself, is that I know I'm a hard worker. I want things to happen. And I understand that things will not happen unless I get off my tuchus and work to make them happen.
You're so right about that. That's 2020 in a nutshell for me.
Right?
Yep.
So I'm like, yeah, I have to put more into this if this is one of the things I want to do. Like, I would love to be a Jamie Lee Curtis where, hey, this actress that you guys love from this movie, yeah, she cosplays. So here's another reason to love her,
Yeah. Man, just having many different, I guess, avenues all leading to one successful goal.
Yes.
Very
you have to diversify. And the thing is, I heard that all the while I was in school. They're like, you have to have multiple ways to make things happen. It may not come from you just getting an agent and getting that one audition and making it through. You have to find other ways to get in there. You have to create your own content. You have to constantly be doing something. And I'm like, hey, I like this. This may be an unconventional way to get in there, but I'm going to get in there.
Exactly. By any means necessary.
Yes. Let me write that down, because I don't know why Malcolm X wasn't my mantra for this year, but he definitely should have been my mantra for this year.
Mm-hmm. And so, I let time get away from me, and we don't have much time left.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
having a good time.
We really have been.
Yeah. Let me ask you a few more questions.
And I was
And
trying to be concise.
oh, no problem. Explain it however you want to explain it. I was going to ask about your makeup because you always look glamorous, of course, going down the runway. So, what do you do for makeup? Because a lot of makeup, of course, doesn't tailor to people of our color or just POC cosplayers. And what do you usually look for? Which brands do you go with?
Oh man, I am an off-brand kind of girl. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't use name brand makeup. I actually have a friend who is now teaching me about name brand makeup and how it can help me. Um, I get lucky, to be honest. If you have work with what you have, let me say that much. The hardest thing for Black people to do is, of course, find your foundation and find it in an affordable price range. Because you have to go to some higher end brands to be able to look good, and it sucks. But I mix high brand things with convenience store and beauty store makeup products. If I can't afford that very nice shiny palette, it's okay. I'll get those same colors in a cheaper palette, but I can afford to get, better concealer or better primer, better setting spray. Because I think the biggest thing for me, because I'm a sweater, I sweat as if I'm trying to win a contest for sweating. It's crazy how much I perspire. So I've been searching through, trying to find the best way to keep, that moisture locked in. Otherwise, your makeup is kaput.
Yeah.
I'm not the best. I use the wrong brushes often. Like if this brush is for your crease, I use it for the corner of my eye. And I'm not a makeup beauty guru, but I do know that you can mix and match until you get to the point where you can't. The only thing
Okay.
I would suggest people actually investing their money in is primer, your foundation, and your setting spray. That way, whatever you do, it's at least gonna stay on your face.
Okay. And which brands for them?
I just started using the Fit Me foundation. I think that's Maybelline. It's so bad. I'm so not good at makeup. Um,
No, it's okay. I mean, you're telling me you're not good at makeup, but I would have never guessed from the images I see. So, yeah.
because I have a mantra where it's make what you can, buy what you can't.
Okay. I like
And it
that.
keeps everything affordable, because if you can make it, go ahead and make it. The version of making it with makeup would be, if you can't afford the famous brand $30 eyeshadow palette, it's okay. You can find those in little bitty handheld palettes at your local beauty supply store.
Yeah.
You just have to pile it on, learn how to use eyelid primer. Elf is one company that I religiously go to. They're cheap. They're in Target. They're in Walmart. They're easily accessible. They have all kinds of makeup brushes. They have all kinds of primers. I wouldn't go for their foundation because they don't have a wide enough variety, especially for people of color. But everything else they have is totally usable, totally affordable. Elf is just great.
Okay. Good. I've never heard of this brand before, but I will add it into the list of the ones I know about. And so, also, I want to discuss, you were telling me that you were published. Which magazines were you published in?
Our Teen Usual Rangers 5, I cannot plug them enough. We were asked to be a part of a photo shoot series for the Washington Post magazine.
Wow. Okay.
We went to BlurredCon its first year, and apparently one of the guys that visited there was visiting a lot of the conventions that were going on in the area, and he wrote a whole article about how DC's got a lot of fun conventions,
Yeah.
and he mentioned us, and he was like, "Hey, get them here. They look so good." So they got us, and we're on the cover of that, and it was oh my gosh, it was the most last minute thing. It was like beginning of the year, I want to say, and yeah, it was definitely in January 2018. And I wake up to an email, and they're like, "Hey, we saw your cosplay. Thought you guys were good. Would you mind being on the cover of the Washington Post magazine?" Would I mind? Would I mind? Is that is that even that's not a question. That's a very bad question, man. Like that is a terrible question. Would I? Like, yes, I want to be on this magazine cover. It was, oh my gosh, that 2018 was just a great year for my team, because we were also invited to meet Ruth Carter at San Diego Comic-Con for our Black Panther cosplays. And oh my gosh,
That's so cool. Man, that's so cool. I hope one day I just wake up to that type of email.
Right? That's the goal. You want that type of email.
Man, that's so cool. Ah, 2020, that's the year. I'm hoping.
Yes. Yes, you just gotta push for it. You gotta take some leaps and bounds, and sometimes you gotta drown a little bit. Like, I honestly have to say that my Okoye cosplay and my Amane cosplay are two cosplays that I've cried while making. And this
Wow.
isn't the joke, oh my gosh, Cree's crying. Because no, I genuinely cried because some things weren't working out as well as I wanted them to. I'd glue things together and realized I'd have to take it immediately apart, and I'd have to do that like all day before it worked. And it was just stressful, and it was very difficult to get these cosplays done.
Hmm.
And to know that because I worked so hard, I got to meet Ruth Carter and the entire design team of Black Panther, of the Marvel movies. I mean, because I cried and kept working, you know. Imani, I don't know where Imani's gonna take me, but where she's taking me so far, it made all those stressful nights worth it. And I want more of those. You know, I want to know that, hey, Cree, it's okay if you get frustrated and if you cry, because not giving up is going to get you somewhere.
It definitely is, man. Pushing through the tears, the blood, the sweat, all of it. That's when you're going to arrive at wherever you need to be.
Jesus, yes.
Yep. So true. Okay, man. I just feel like I could just talk to you forever. We have so many other costumes I want to discuss, but I'm going to have you back on the show. Oh,
Yes,
man.
yes.
Yes. Um, well, for in conclusion, as I always ask, who do you look up to in the cosplay world?
Who do I look up to in the cosplay world? There are so many people.
That's what everyone always says, and it's always so funny because they're like, I can't think of them right now. And I know that's how it goes when you're put on the spot.
If there is one person I could give a shout out to, he doesn't need my shout out. He's already made a name for himself because he works hard. Um, Evil Ted. He was one of the first videos on YouTube that me and my team watched when we were trying to make the Power Ranger suits. And we ran into him randomly at Dragon Con. We're taking a picture as completely different people, completely different cosplay. And he goes up to our Black Ranger and he's dressed as Blade. And he was like, "Yeah, I like your blade. You guys, you look really good." And he's like, "Yeah, thank you." And then Evil Ted takes off his hat, and our Black Ranger freezes. He's like, "Well, you're Evil Ted." And he's like, "Yes, I am. Nice to meet you." He's like, "No, pause." He gets me and our White Ranger Jerry, and he's like, "Guys, Evil Ted." We almost pass out because it's like, dude, do you know what you started? Literally, thanks to your instructional videos and everything that you teach on YouTube, we were able to get started. I'm literally only here. Imani is only here because I was watching this guy's videos and how easily he breaks everything down. Like, it was amazing to meet him. We even got to meet him in the Power Ranger suits and take a picture with him. We were like, oh my God, thank you.
I've honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I've never even heard of him. I just looked him up as you were talking about him. I need to check out some of his amazing tutorials because he's got some crazy stuff.
Oh my gosh, he simplifies everything. He simplifies so well. And he does general things. Like, he's not like, "Oh, here's how I made this cosplay." He's like, "Here's what you can do to make your cosplay. Here's a base that you can build off of." And then while he's teaching, he gives other little hints. And he always says, "This is what I'm using to do this, that, and the third." He's just, man, and he's such a nice guy. The nicest guy.
Okay, dang. I'm definitely following him now. So,
Yes.
I'm hoping. I mean, because I know, like, I was so pissed that I couldn't make it to Dragon Con last year. I mean, I did
Oh,
have a valid
yeah.
excuse. My brother was proposing to his girlfriend, so I had to be there for, yeah, whatever. So, the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, damn it, I'm missing Dragon Con for this. But it was still a heartwarming moment, so I was glad to be there for that because, it only happens once. So. But
Yeah,
this
no,
year,
I get you with that. I totally understand.
yeah, this year though, I plan to be a Dragon Con. I'm going to Ichiban Con next week, KatsuCon, MomoCon, AWA, Dragon Con, and hopefully Yeti Con in Canada. So
What?
yeah,
I go to Canada.
yes, and my aunt lives in Canada, so
Oh yes, please take advantage of this.
Oh, of course, all the way. I'm like, Auntie, how have you been? I know we haven't spoken like forever. What? Yeah. Well, man, like I said, I could just go on forever and
Yeah,
ever.
we really could. We really could.
Yes. And for everyone listening, we are going to have a follow-up interview with you at KatsuCon coming here in February, what, 14th, is it?
Yep, Valentine's Day
Yes.
weekend.
Yes. We are going to have a follow-up. I'm starting my YouTube channel. Lots of big things planned for 2020. So, yes, everybody stay tuned. And again, I would like to thank you, Brown.Suga.Outlaw, so much for being on the show and taking the time to speak with us. I greatly appreciate it.
No, of course, of course. I mean, what's the theme of 2020? Friendship? Yeah, friendship is magic.
Friend, teamwork makes the dream work. That's what I like to say.
Yes.
Well, that will be everything for today's episode. I hope everyone enjoys it. Until next time, everybody, stay boundless. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.